Welcome to the Rundown with Ramon. My name is Ramon Ray, founder of CelebrityCEO.com, where we help you with your personal brand. On this edition of the Rundown with Ramon, I had the pleasure to talk with Shavonne Reed. Shavonne Reed is the head of an amazing marketing agency focused on companies building their culture, making it better, and focused on helping companies live and be more healthier lives. We talked about a few things: her journey through trauma, her journey through poverty, her journey through working herself really way too hard in corporate America, and what Shavonne did to break that cycle, break those issues, and be a better person, be a person who she is today. Shavonne talks about how she loves being a mom to her two daughters, and she talked about her agency, the power of going niche, the power of going very specific and serving a very specific subset of customers. I've talked about that a bit before. Seth Godin talks about that quite a bit, but there's power, as people say, there's riches in the niches. One more time, my name is Ramon Ray. So glad you're watching this edition of the Rundown with Ramon. If you want to be on an edition of the Rundown with Ramon, just email me, ramon@ramonray.com, ramon@ramonray.com, and let me know you want to be featured on an edition of the Rundown with Ramon. With that, let's listen to this interview with Shavonne Reed. And hey, everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining me on the Rundown with Ramon on Black Enterprise. My name is Ramon Ray. Glad to have you with me here today, because if you weren't here with me today, there'd be no show. So I'm here with my friend, Shavonne Reed. Shavonne's going to talk to us about her journey, who she is today, what brought her here, and how we can help you live a better life or grow your business. Shavonne, how are you today? What's going on in your world? How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. My world is just phenomenal right now. I am on the brink of graduating a senior from high school. So I've got my hands in a lot of stuff. Prom is coming up, and oh my gosh, it's just so much fun.
Very nice. I love that. I love that. It was good to get to know you just a few weeks ago as we were at a mutual event together. So it was good to see you and have some time with you there. So thanks for taking some time to be with us, Shavonne, on the Rundown with Ramon. Why don't we dive right into it? In a nutshell, who is Shavonne today? People listening to this want to get in touch with you, want to connect with you, and feel free to leave a website or so. Just tell us today, who is Shavonne Reed?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for this invitation. I'm so
Indeed.
excited to share who Shavonne Reed is. So I am a mom for sure. Number
Yes.
one priority. I love the fact that I have been able to mother two beautiful daughters, Lauren and
Mm.
London. They are now 15. Well, she'll be 15 in May, and 17. The 17-year-old is graduating. And just the evolution of, my experience in corporate for more than 20 years, and then transitioning out and reflecting back on the time that I spent there and how I didn't show up enough for myself and
Mm.
prioritize my self-care. And so once I transitioned out, that became a big part of my mission, especially after having lost my mom to several chronic diseases that were preventable in 2021, and just seeing how there were some parallels in how she did not prioritize her self-care over the years, and seeing that I was following some of those similar patterns. And of course, some of the, underlying reasons are a bit systemic, but at the same time, I feel like if you can really increase education, awareness, and information, then behavioral change can happen. And so that's why I dedicated my marketing agency, which stands for OPUA, Agency of Optimistic People Unified for Awareness, because we focus on helping organizations and individuals to really transform their behavior for positive behavioral change and future health, because your future health really does start now.
I love that. One more time, give us the name of the agency today and who's it for, just so those listening can know, it's not, I shouldn't connect with Shavonne, or tell us who it's for so those listening know how to reach you, and tell us the website or whatever connection you want to give one more time.
Absolutely. So it's OPUA Agency, Optimistic People Unified for Awareness. And it's for any mission driven organization who's really trying to change the culture to wellness, to making sure that everyone really prioritizes their self care and making sure that they are engaging their employees and themselves, and making sure that they are allowing for a well lifestyle and that will promote future health. And the
Definitely.
website is opua.agency. And I also have a personal branded website. It's shavonnereed.com.
Got that domain name. I got Ramon Ray before somebody made me get Ramon Ray dot dash 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 net or something crazy like that.
Absolutely.
Good for you, Shavonne. And I want to get to your story, but two more things I'll tell you about myself. Just when I hear what you just said, I go to
Uh-huh.
church in Newark, New Jersey. It's a nice neighborhood, but gritty. It's in the hood, whatever that may mean for some, but that's just not the suburbs where I live at. And I was there watching a lady get her food, you know, she was in the
Mhm.
local bodega getting some the canned food and the wrapped ham sandwiches and things. And I just sent that picture to my wife and I said, Ronnie, you know, meaning I have done that and I don't mind getting food from there when I need to, but it's
Okay.
just meaning, I don't know if it connects with what you said, but something you said just meaning going back to systemic and things that this is what she has. This is around her. The food she's buying is probably not healthy. It's very expensive. There's no fancy Whole Foods. I'll take arugula, please, as maybe you or I, blessed today, I can say can get. So I just
Right.
wanted to leave that one thing with you. Does that mean anything? And I'll say a second story, but respond to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we take for granted all of the luxuries that we're afforded, right? Because there's always someone that's less fortunate than we are. So I think that gratitude takes us a long way. And it definitely will help if we self reflect and meditate. It does a lot for our body in healing and just being relaxed and reducing stress.
Yeah, for sure. And then the second thing, since you mentioned your mom, my father as well passed away. I'm about 50 years old. He passed away 25 something years ago. And I'm not sure, I'm not saying this is 100% for that. And I love my dad. My dad was a great dad. I love my father very much, but he liked to drink some soda. He liked to add that salt. And I think some of that may have contributed just to some unhealthy things, as you may know. It sounds like it, and I'll hear in a minute, but compounded. So I echo what you said about mom and my dad, kind of a similar way. You know, he ate unhealthy stuff, but good man. But if he'd ate more green beans during the dinner or more water, you know, he may have lived healthier or died more peacefully, put it that way. So I echo that. But
Mhm.
Shavonne, let's get to your story and what brought you here today. I know based on some back reading, it wasn't, you didn't wake up with the $1 million next to your crib, you know, and all those things. Talk to us about, give us a few of those journeys. I know that's meaningful to you. And you said how you're so happy to be a mom. I don't know if that's tied into that as well, but I'd love to hear a bit about your story. And then we'll get into the business end. But I have a feeling that what you're going to share with us about where you were has impacted who you are today. Please share that with us a bit.
Absolutely. So I have always been an overachiever and just really wanted to prove myself and, really be able to validate my worth by overachieving and going above and beyond so that I could be validated. And I struggle, over my career, just trying to climb the corporate ladder. And we all know that we aren't necessarily afforded the same opportunities as our counterparts as minorities. And it's very disheartening. But I wanted to write that up in a story that
Mm.
people could actually read and learn something from. And so I did that with the book Ugly Duckling. And it's just released, available on Amazon. It's also available on my website, ShavonneReed.com. I even have a copy of it here. Very nice.
And I
cover.
have a copy to continue. Continue. Let me see if I have
Yes.
it. When
And
you're looking for something, you never find it near. If I wasn't talking to you, it'd be right here within fingers reach.
I
But of
know,
course
right?
not.
But
Continue on. Go ahead.
it's one of those stories that I mean, like over the years, I thought I was the only one, Ramon.
Mm, mm.
And then as I talk to people and I share and I educate and inform others, they're like, oh my gosh, you experienced that too? That was me. And so I really just feel like this story can really enlighten, especially the emerging leaders, those that are coming after me, to really know that if you have a passion and drive and desire, that if you stay focused and you have a plan, you can achieve whatever it is your heart desires. You may have some stumbling blocks along the way, but if you can just navigate towards some mentors, some sponsors who can help you, guide you, give you inspiration and courage, you can get to that place that you want to be.
I love it. So unpack though for us a bit. What's inside of Ugly Duckling or that story? Tell us. We don't want to spoil it, but do tell us who was Shavonne and what brought her today. Do tell us that a bit. I'm curious now.
Yes, yes, yes. So there's a character named Jara Lee,
Okay.
and much of the story is inspired by actual real life activities that happened in my life. Of course, with a little bit of um,
Understand.
embellishment and
Sure.
to protect those that were involved. But it really just is a natural progression from her entering into the workforce and spending a lot of time after having gone to get her college degree with the expectation that she was going to be able to move into her dream job,
Mm.
within a pretty reasonable time frame. She finds herself, stuck in this place and can't seem to catch a break. When she does, she's in the middle of like a lover's quarrel. And it's like, oh my gosh, how did she end up being here? But then in the end, she does end up getting some support from an unlikely source. So it's very important that you don't burn your bridges. And it really is an enlightening story that will help others who would like to be advocates for minorities in the workplace to be able to show up better and to lean in and offer more support for them.
I love it. I love it. I love it. When you talk about trauma that you've gone through, can you share one or two of those? Was it mental, physical, emotional, just a variety of things? Because I asked that because of many people listening, as you may know, Shavonne, I'm in a community breakfast with champions, and I have not had a perfect life at all. I've had my own hardships, but thankfully, by God's grace, never severe trauma. But many people in that community have gone through severe issues of trauma. So when I see warriors, those today who are so strong, I'm like, yeah, I bet they've crawled over some glass or some broken rocks to be who they are today.
Or even walked over fire. Let me tell you.
That too.
Yes, I have had more than my fair share of traumas in the workplace, in the private, my personal life, just growing up. And I feel like it's one of those things. We all have some sort of trauma.
Yes.
Some, is greater than others. But what I found was that I was compartmentalizing that trauma. So I wouldn't necessarily deal with it, but it was affecting me and me physically. And so now, as I have evolved, I strive to find harmony in everything, and not always feeling like I have to work all the way into the wee hours of the night, even though I did that last night because I had so much stuff I was preparing for today.
And because you can be on the rundown with Ramon. So that's an exception. When you're on the rundown with Ramon, that's okay. Once a month, once in a while, it's okay. It's okay.
Yes, but I really had to understand that you have to be a little bit more methodical, prioritizing self-care. And it's okay to take a step back and to have that, instead of the fear of missing out, the joy of missing out, just really repositioning that mindset around how you're showing up and being present. I know there have been a lot of times when my daughters have caught me and they're like, Mom, are you listening? And I'm like, yeah, I'm listening. They say, well, what if I just say? And I go, you said, they're like, no, you were not listening. So that when I get to that point, that really is like an eye-opening or like a, just a trigger to say, hey, look, you're moving too fast. You need to slow down. And it's so hard because I am still very much an overachiever, but I have learned to pump the brakes. And then when I don't, my husband is there to snatch my chain.
I love it. I love it. I like how you said that is beautiful. I could say a movie on that or something like that. Snatch my chain, but with hearts, like love. I can see that.
Yes.
Very nice, Shavonne. So help me understand, what are your tips for others listening to this now and are overworked? So there's a corporate answer you may give, and or had some trauma and are stuck in it, either from childhood or work, or answer both maybe. Overworked people, talk to them. What is Shavonne doing today? And maybe part of it, you hinted, getting a partner. Doesn't even have to be a romantic partner, but just a buddy, somebody say, yo, Ramon, you haven't been to our choir meeting or our picnic in a while. What's going on? No, dude, you need to come and go play ball with us. Could be that, but talk to us about the overworked people, corporate overworked, and then maybe talk to people who've had trauma first, or however you wish.
Yeah. So I heard a wise man say once, do your values match up with your calendar? How are you spending your time and treasure? Because at the end of life, you do not want to look back and reflect and feel like, oh my gosh, I should have been focused on this, that, or the other. And I especially say that having, lost my mom recently, understanding that, there will come a time when you will have to say your goodbyes. And so, how are you spending your valuable time? Does it match with what you say you are really, is important to you in your life? And so if you are not, I challenge you just like to really be intentional about reflecting on how can you transition to spend more time on the things that you value so that you are living your best self, showing up and actually being present in the moment, having those conversations that will mean something and that you can laugh about and create memories about with your children and your children's children in the future, because they are so, so important. And yes, you wanted to show up and you want to do a good job on the job, but at the same time, making sure that you have effective time management skills. And if you don't, sign up for a coach. Get a coach. A coach can really help you to see where your weaknesses are. Sometimes we don't recognize them, but others can have an outward look and give you some advice on things that you can try. And then when dealing with that trauma, just of any situation, whether it's from your childhood, because a lot of us have adverse childhood experiences, which are affectionately known as ACEs, and then those that experience trauma in the workplace, any emotion that's not dealt with will linger. And so, really, just acknowledging that hurt, that pain, instead of just compartmentalizing it and putting it away, and really doing something with it so that you can forgive and you can heal and move on from it. And you will be able to show up a little bit better, a little bit more authentic, and a little bit more free. And who doesn't
Mm.
want to be free? Because then you can just relax and smile and be joyful in the moment.
I love that, Shavonne. I'm going to role play with you a bit here, and I'm
Okay.
going to be called. You weren't expecting, I know, but I know you can handle it. I'm going to role play with you a bit, and they call me behind my back Mr. B. My full name is Mr. Big Bad Boss. So you
Oh,
just okay. So Shavonne's like, oh, I've dealt with Mr. Big Bad Boss, Ramon. You don't know what's coming. So, Shavonne, you have two beautiful daughters. Their birthday is today and tomorrow, whatever. Mr. B, just so you know, I won't be in. Excuse me? You won't, Shavonne, you just got this job. We're paying you 150,000 a year, 120,000 a year, 60,000 a year, whatever you want. You need to be here tomorrow. We have the corporate planners. We have the corporate picnic. We have the corporate thing. I need you to vacuum. I need you to get my flowers. I need you to get the spreadsheet done. We have investors coming in, Shavonne. I'm paying you enough. Shavonne, I don't care about your daughters. Suck it up. The world's a tough place, Shavonne. See you later. I'm gone. Shavonne says, what? Or maybe that, or you set it up however you want. Maybe something you dealt with before or you do after, but play with me here. I'm Mr. Bad Boss. I don't give a darn about your cute little daughters. Don't give a darn. I just care because I got big bosses too in Tokyo, Japan, and Jamaica. Talk to me.
yeah, absolutely. Now, the younger version of Shavonne
Okay.
would have been like, okay, and going home trying to explain this to my husband and my daughters, like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna miss it. I actually did miss like some very significant milestones, like the first day at a new school, the first day of first grade, and picture day for soccer, which are huge. But today I would have the conversation with that Mr. B and
Mm-hmm.
say, Mr. B, I really appreciate and understand your position and that you really would like for me to be present. However, there is something that is, in my life that is personal, that is of value to me that I can absolutely not miss. I am willing to make a concession to help you to stand up, whatever support you need in my absence. And then I can also inform your assistant or my assistant to give you the backup with all that you need in order to be successful in your meetings on tomorrow.
Interesting, Shavonne. So, Shavonne, you're telling me that the company won't fail if you go to your daughter's soccer practice tomorrow. Is that what you're telling me? That we won't, the company and all 1,000 employees won't fail, but it'll still get done, but maybe a little differently than I thought. Is that what I'm hearing you say, Miss Shavonne?
That is absolutely what I'm saying. I would love for you to understand that, hey, one person does not make
Sure.
the difference in that moment. If I take the time away, it's still going to get done. It's still going to happen. Everything will work out. It's just a moment. And I need that moment for myself.
I love
So I
it. I love it.
greatly appreciate your support.
I'm going to have to change my name card from Mr. Big Bad Boss to Mr. Big Understanding Boss, maybe. Bud. Ooh, that's a topic for you, Shavonne. BBB, change it, make a U comment on the clicker. From Big Bad Boss to the Big Understanding Boss, she'll be your buddy. Anyways, that's how it works. Shavonne, I like that. I like that. I'm sure that in that example, of course, that wouldn't have just happened there. Those are things you'd have talked weeks ahead, setting expectations, training the team and boss. Hey, listen, I'm going to work hard, but there's going to be some times this year where no matter what happens, theoretically, I'm going to say thank you, but no, or some alternatives. Am I repeating what I'm hearing? You playing along with me?
Absolutely. You're so right.
Yeah. Very nice. I think that is so important and so true. Let's talk about the health aspect, Shavonne. Why is that important to you? I think you've already illustrated your mom, but what do you do today? What do you do for health? What do you do for your family? Is that something you do? I know you're a marketing agency focused on that, but tie all that together, the health aspect. What do you do, or what does it mean? Is it just personal, or is there a business end of it too? Talk about that, the importance of health for you.
Yes, so the importance of health is really it's like just top of the line here because I did experience the hardships, through my family and the loss, but being able to educate and inform and make healthy choices easier, there's a science behind it.
Mm,
And it's all about behavioral change and engaging the audiences where they are. My specific niche for opioid agency is definitely dealing with Gen Z and helping them, even from a cultural perspective, to understand ways to identify how to make better choices, make healthier choices, whether it be with foods, whether it be with, just behaviors of social, like socially drinking, their mental health. One of the practices that I have put into place since, COVID, of course, is making sure that I am mindful of how I take care of all of my life sets.
mm.
So that would include my mindset, my heart set, my soul set, my physical set as well. And so making sure that I am tending to all of those. I get up, I go work out, at least 4 times a week. And then I will take some time to go into the steam room and just meditate. So that gives me an opportunity to clear my mind. And when I'm in there, I just kind of let go of whatever stresses or issues that I have and give my mind an opportunity to slow down because
Mm.
at points I would really have a hard time just sitting still and not thinking about something or feeling guilty about not doing work. And so it took me a while to get there. And so I have this deliberate, intentional, routine in place so that I can make sure that I keep that rhythm flowing. And when I don't, I definitely notice a difference. And
Mm.
so that's really important for me. And then modeling those behaviors for my younger girls because I don't want them to have negative patterns as they start out in adulting. And then, of course, I have an accountability partner that's built in. We've been together for more than 20 years. And oh my gosh, he will definitely remind me if I am not on track. He's like, you haven't been to the gym. Why are you eating those, drinking those sodas? I thought you weren't going to drink them. And so over time, as you practice these healthier behaviors, it becomes a natural part of who you are. And then you no longer even crave those things that were not good for you. So I couldn't tell you when I ate anything from McDonald's. And I used to live on McDonald's throughout college. So those types of things are just like really, important.
You probably haven't had the McDonald's, but Shavonne, I mean, let me just try to level with you. But
Okay.
I mean, what about that chicken McNugget? I mean, Siobhan, forget McDonald's, but just a little decent chicken McNugget, maybe, or the quarter pounder, maybe the French fries dipped in some ketchup. How about that at least?
Take it sometimes where if my daughters will grab a like Chick-fil-A fry, they'll offer me a fry.
A
But
fry, I got it.
yeah, but we have limits and that you have to learn the power of negotiation here, you know?
I got you. I got you. No, I'm just messing with you. I got you. But it's so important, healthy, and it's not easy. I think our surroundings, and I think, but you said it. Well, so two, one is the peers you're with, the groups you're in. If me and Siobhan are rolling, and she's eating healthy in a few months, assuming she's stronger than me, which she is, I'm going to be conformed to her. And I think number two, as you said, the habit. I did something in our youth group about habits just last week, Siobhan, and it's so important. Choice becomes a habit becomes automatic becomes identity. This is what somebody else, I'm quoting their message, that
Uh-huh.
identity becomes nature. I said it in a negative way, but the same thing for good things, Siobhan. I'm not probably doing all the health you do, or maybe as I could do, but I'm cognizant of water. Right before I hit video, I fill my little flask here with water, and I do
Uh-huh.
push-ups and stretches every day. I've done that for 20 something years. It's a habit. It's automatic. I wake up, drop to the floor. So
Mhm.
I echo what you're saying. Yeah, for that, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Siobhan, let's touch a bit, a few minutes we have left here about your agency, and I'd love to know how you started it. How you started it, tips of success. Maybe talk to other agency owners or business in general, and you can talk about whatever you like. There's leadership, there's hiring, there's how you're marketing it, there's anything you like. And usually, Siobhan, I ask like 27 questions in one breath. So thank you for your grace allowing me to do that. But talk about the business side. Help those who are business owners. What are maybe some pitfalls you've had, successes, whatever you like, but help us understand about business success, what we can learn from you.
Yeah, absolutely. So coming from corporate after being there 25 years and having large marketing budgets, it's definitely a mind shift change that needs to happen as an entrepreneur
I hear that
because
a lot.
yes, you don't have the operations team, you don't have the finance team, you don't have all these people to support you.
You got to be on hold to fix the proverbial copy. You're like, before I had Jimmy do that, I just told IT. Go ahead.
Yes. And so I think that was one of the largest lessons that I had to learn was to think with a different mindset of
Mm.
being all of those different roles and wearing those many different hats. And I was not very clearly articulating what my vision, mission, and values were and my purpose in the business. And then I went through what a traditional branding exercise that I would do for, my corporate clients and corporate company. And then there was like an aha moment, and it was
Mm.
like, oh my gosh, it's definitely the mission is optimistic people unify for awareness and future health. It starts now. So that became the bane of our existence and everything that we support, whether it's offering, facilitation and training in the corporate environment for workplace wellness and employee engagement, or setting up a marketing communications campaign targeting marginalized communities to help them prevent um, unhealthy eating habits or behaviors, or even Generation Z and
Mm.
their whole social complexities right now with the mental health. So being able to really target and niche down on what it was that I wanted to focus on and how that was all purpose driven. And that made all the difference because then everything that I was working on and started doing was aligned with that vision, mission, and values. And then, of course, it made the load become a lot lighter because I wasn't having to reinvent the wheel each time.
I love that. I think you're so true. So many people, my friend Seth Godin, this is one book I can find. Finally, I was trying to find your book, but Seth Godin, talks about the going niche. He's talked about that, of course, sorry about that, for many years, going niche, going narrow, serving it. I think many people resisted, but Shavonne, you're showing again, you have a marketing agency. You could say, we're here for everybody, but nope, as I understand it, but maybe crystallize from, but those companies then who have health focused products who you want to serve. Am I right? Is that about right? Or
Yes, it
okay.
could definitely be healthcare products, or also just wanting to make sure that their employees are healthy as well. So that whole workplace wellness culture is really important because you have to take care of your employees and prioritize their health, or they won't be there to help you make money.
That's true. That's true. And there'll be your insurance and everything, they'll be calling sick out and all those kind of things for sure. Any particular pitfalls that you've had as you started the business or as you're growing it, or has it been generally speaking, not too bad and pretty smooth, which is fine. And or any particular high success that was like, Ramon, here's what we did right. So either thing, a stumble that you learned or anything, here's what we've done really right. You mentioned niches going one. Anything else that comes to mind?
Yeah, so for sure. Expenses, minding
Okay.
the expenses, because it's so easy to sign up for different things that are on auto pay, with your credit
Yes.
card, and making sure that you're attending to that because it's on what is it, autopilot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of tend to forget. So I think it's very important to audit often, at least quarterly, if you can't do it on a more frequent basis, because that could be a huge pitfall. Next thing you know, you're paying for something that you no longer need and didn't even realize that you're going to pay for it. And then of course you've checked some box somewhere that says, I acknowledge that you don't offer refunds.
That's right. Those boxes. Siobhan, anything I haven't asked you that you wanted to mention? I'm sure we could talk for hours, but
Oh,
anything I haven't mentioned that you particularly, hey, Ramon, let me just add this. And if not, it's okay. But I always love to leave space for that question I didn't ask or that point you wanted to make.
Oh, I really appreciate that. And you're so right. I could go on forever and ever talking about this stuff because it's something that's near and dear to my heart and it's my passion and purpose. But no, I just really would love to encourage everyone to really reflect on the fact that your future health starts now. So every decision that you make today will definitely determine your future health. So as you drink those sodas, as you eat that fast food, consider moderation, because at the end of the day, at some point in the future, you will have to answer for the behaviors and patterns that you've kept up over the years. And you don't want it to be an uncomfortable situation of regret. You can have self-discipline because it's very light, but regret It's very heavy, especially once you get to the latter stages of life. So
I love that. Shavonne, one more time, give us the name of your website, the name of your company, so those listening to the Rundown with Ramon who want to reach out to Shavonne for their needs. One more time, tell us again.
absolutely. It's Opua Agency. The website is opua.agency. And then I also have the personal branding website is ShavonneReed.com.
I love it. Shavonne, thanks for joining us, and I hope to see you again in person and or online. But thanks for your time with us today. Really appreciate you.